Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mystic Tides Tarot. And happy Lunar New Year, the year of the fire horse. So, Aries, let's just get started. Now, I bet you're wondering what's in store. I have a couple of questions that I am going to be asking for every single zodiac sign, and we'll just go from there. So I felt it very appropriate to be using my Dragon Tarot deck because fire, hello, they know fire. I love dragons. Dragons were the first type of spiritual energy that I truly felt a connection to before I started working with gods, goddesses, deities, and the such, which maybe you don't even care about, but I thought I would share that anyway, which is why this deck looks a little more worn, even though I try my best not to be too rough with my decks. Anyways, let's see what this card that just slipped out says before I even continue. The Chariot. Interesting. The horse itself obviously is an animal of movement. You know, we have literal race horses, right? And then the year of the fire horse, we're talking about a horse that is probably as close to Aries as any other horse is going to get in the Chinese zodiac, because it is the fire horse, and Aries is a fire element zodiac sign. The Chariot is all about movement. So this is a big year in regards to movement for you. And maybe you feel like you're always moving and you're always on the go, but this isn't just about moving for movement's sake. It's about very directed movement with very big purpose. And this isn't, I feel inclined to share for some reason that you shouldn't worry about follow through this year, because you will be able to follow through. I don't know why that came through, but it did. So maybe that'll help you out in some way. I also love that it was a major arcana. This just is, this card came out and I'm just like, we're exactly where we need to be right now. And maybe that's something you also need to hear. But it's kind of like saying, even though things may not feel secure or super steady, they're not supposed to, because you're in the middle of movement in your journey. And when you're moving, things are not steady. There's turbulence. Like when you think about this chariot here being led by two dragons, do you think that that chariot is a smooth ride? Probably not. It also doesn't mean that it's chaotic. So it's neither extremes, which is another thing that I'm being called on to talk to you about, is it's not about going as fast as possible or slowing all the way down, but really playing with the middle and knowing when to apply a little more gas or when to apply a little more brakes, and never doing a full stop or a full on pedal to the metal. Okay. So, okay, let's, I did not expect to say all of that before I actually started pulling on the questions that I designed for this. But the first question, or it's not even really a question, it's more of like a card to represent this year to you. And I feel like that's already there. So I'm not even going to pull for that one, because I feel like that's very representative of this energy of this new year for you, as it is already Aries. Okay, so second question. Oh, whoa. I'm just going to use this as the answer for the second question. How to best approach, excuse me, how to best approach this year, generally speaking. And we kind of already tapped on that when I was going on and on before I pulled these two cards, but we have the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Now, Ace of Wands, a fire suit. You are a fire sign. Ace of Wands, a new beginning. So I feel like this kind of ties back into the Chariot, where we're talking about not necessarily embarking on a new journey per se, but this momentum. And I think where the Ace of Wands is talking about something new, a new passion, maybe it's in the way that you feel about this journey now. So a lot of times we talk about, oh, passions, a new passion, like we think in a new hobby, we're thinking a new partner, we're thinking something new. I don't feel like it's new in the sense that you've never seen it before, but I feel like it's a new feeling. Like maybe even spiritually speaking, I want to say that you have this, like maybe this intuition that things are going to be different for you. Even though you might be treading the same path or a similar path, they are not going to be similar to the experiences that you have known in the before. I don't know why I said in the before, but it's kind of like saying, I'm just going to use fitness as an example because it's something that I know quite a bit about. But you're starting this fitness journey and you've done your research, looked at all these fitness programs, and you've narrowed it down to like your top 3. And then you feel like, okay, you know what? It's going to have to be this one fitness program because I really resonate with the creator. Everything they're saying makes logical sense to me. And it really aligns with what I want my fitness to be like. And you embark on this journey and you're so hopeful. And then somewhere along the lines, things end up happening, life happens, and you fall off and you're disillusioned and you don't really hop back on until you feel like you're not as sad about it anymore. And when you hop back on, you're now wondering if that was the right fitness program for you. So then you start your search all over again, and then you find another 3 programs, you narrow it down, and you repeat this process. And then this cycle keeps happening. And even though this time you're doing something similar, the result will not be the same. And I don't mean like the end result. I mean like the result of the actual journey. Because this year for you is all about the journey. It's not about an end result, even though you're still going to be seeing results. And you will be seeing them as you're traversing this journey. Whereas in the past, when you were in the journey, you were not seeing the results. So it was also disheartening to even continue. Okay. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. And maybe this is another reason. Whoa. I'm just getting a lot of energy and my throat is having a problem keeping up with everything that I'm trying to say. Anyways, the Knight of Pentacles. This is probably one of the reasons why I brought up the fitness journey as well, because the Pentacles suit has to do not just with finances and career in some cases, but also with your physical health and wellness. But the Knight of Pentacles, another card of movement. The Knight on the traditional artwork of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot is a knight on top of a horse, and he's going along on his journey, right? But the one thing to note about the Knight of Pentacles is he is not the knight that is moving at a breakneck speed, okay? That would be the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles, he is steady. He's not rushing. And this completely coincides with the Chariot energy that we were talking on earlier. So it's a lot about not turning something on or off, but adjusting the knob, modulating certain things in what it is you're doing. Not starting 1,000 things or quitting them, but staying where you're at because it's a good place for you and seeing it through. But now it's just not going to be like it was before. And I feel like I keep repeating that because I want you to understand that it's going to be different so that you can stick with it. Because you cannot see the results if you don't. And sticking with it is also going to breed not only different results in the end of whatever it is, but it's also going to allow for you to change as a person. And that behavior that you may have where you rush in or you completely pull out is going to cease. Not because you're not going to know how to do those things, but you've already mastered those things. And now it's time to master something else. And that's what the movement is about for you in this year. Okay, now, next question. Oh, this is why does this keep happening? This is too many cards. This is too many cards. We're just gonna... I know a lot of tarot readers shuffle really recklessly or like really fast. And, oh my goodness. Jeez. And they like to produce jumper cards and that's how they read them. I don't like to do that on purpose. And even when it happens by accident, I'll let my intuition guide me on whether or not I'm going to use that. Just really depends. Anyways, and I don't know why I'm explaining so much of my process to you guys. Maybe that's because that has to do with the message. And maybe part of your journey is to explain the process to yourself or to others. Maybe that brings you some sort of comfort, or maybe it helps you slow down enough to not do anything rash. Anyways, spirituality. How do we see this year in terms of your spirituality? Just kind of like a feeler of what that can look like for you. 4 of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Now, I think of stability as one of the keywords for this suit, but it is also the craving for stability. So I don't know if you've craved this in the past, but it's kind of like saying your spirit, your soul is craving stability, and it might end up showing up in a way that doesn't coincide with what you want to do, because your spirit, your soul wants you to know how to be stable. And this is in a very like inner world type of way. So you could have like all this chaos going on the outside with whatever area of life, right? But on the inside, you're safe, you're secure, and you know that. And that's what is happening for you when you're going through this year. So it's almost like, obviously, the tarot is very spiritual to me. It's a huge part of my spirituality. But if you don't live as a spiritual person every day, it's hard to find the magic in the mundane. And this journey that you're going through, it feels maybe more mundane, maybe somewhat mental, emotional, but maybe it doesn't feel spiritual at all, but it very much is. And this Four of Pentacles coming out is kind of like saying that if you go along with this movement that is steady, that isn't rush, it's going to give you some spiritual stability that your soul and your spirit have been craving for a while. And this could be deep buried in your subconscious where you're not really aware that that's what your soul and your spirit need. And that's okay, because life has an interesting way of putting in front of us things that we can always use to our benefit, even if they feel ugly and icky at the time. And this isn't about making ugly things beautiful or by, bypassing them at all. It's just kind of like trying to make, lemonade out of lemons. I hope I'm impressing upon you what I'm trying to say. I feel like if I keep trying to explain it, it's going to lose its juice. Pun intended. But yeah, okay, let's move on. Let's go into the financials of it all. So in this year, what are we looking like in the finances arena? Not this one. Seven of Swords. Now, I don't know how you feel about your finances, but Seven of Swords showing up, you can be one of two people. And maybe you've been both, are one now, have been the other in the past, whatever. The Seven of Swords, you have this giant dragon grown, has his big bone, earned it, probably killed their prey, and is now resting. Then you have this smaller dragon who probably doesn't have those skills to be able to have a bone this size of their own. So they're going to try to sneakily try to steal this bone away from this giant dragon while that dragon is sleeping. And I'm literally just describing what the artwork says, okay? Like, I'm not adding extra stuff here yet. So it's kind of like saying, and the swords are also the suit of the mind and of communication. So in finances, there could be something that you're maybe hesitant to either look at or to really understand because it's a sore spot for you. Or if you're the little dragon, there could be some finances that are not yours, that are within reach, and you feel like maybe those people aren't really using it to their benefit. And if you had a hold of them, you would know exactly what to do with them. And I'm not trying to say that you're stealing them in this case, but it's kind of like just having those thoughts is putting you in a place that isn't serving you. So now I'm feeling called to pull an additional card because now I want to see what is advised in terms of your finances to have a positive outcome this year? What is advised for Aries? Oh, this one. The Empress. Interesting. So just so you understand, I guess we could put it here. The Empress is abundant as fuck. Okay. The Empress not only knows how to nurture something and give it abundance with that nurturing, but it even births the things that she nurtures. So she has so much resource within herself that she can do that. And this kind of leads me to ask you, where do you already have that in your life? Because you have it. You don't have to go looking for it. You have something, a skill, a job, a thought, an idea, a passion, something that is like a little gold mine, or a big gold mine. I don't know why I said gold mine. Maybe it has to do with a goal that you set a long time ago that you never saw through, because maybe you were a little too fast on the movement and not tempering it enough. Maybe. But maybe revisiting that and seeing it with a different lens. Instead of thinking, if I would have done that back in the day, now I would have had X, Y, and Z like so-and-so. Now think, why is it too late? What makes me think it's too late now? And maybe it's something I don't want to do anymore. But maybe there's something similar to that, or something else that I've been wanting that I have been shying away from because it's too painful to look at. And it's costing me, not just spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but even financially at this point. Because also the Empress, I love my major arcanas. This year is a major arcana for you in terms of energy. It's huge. And then also when I'm asking, what can we do to better these finances? We get the Empress, another major arcana. It also is indicative of major work. But it's not because you can't do it. It's just because maybe you've been too much in an energy where it hasn't been as abundant feeling. So, of course, the abundant queen comes out. Okay. Do with that what thou wilt. Good stuff. Okay, let's move on to the last category here. Now, for this year, let's look into relationships / social life. And I say that because I am not going to be getting, at least anytime soon, or nor do I want to become a channel that focuses on love readings. It's just not the way that I came into the tarot. So out of respect, I feel like, yes, I will do love readings every now and then. I'm not against it. But there's so much more to get from the tarot. And I want to impress that upon whoever's watching as much as I can. Anyways, relationships / social connections, social life. A card to represent this Lunar New Year. The Sire of Wands. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is so good, because the Sire of Wands is also the King of Wands, okay? That is, in my opinion, and maybe a couple of other tarot people, the most charismatic being that you could pull from the tarot. First of all, it's a court card. So it's directly talking about an individual. So either... And, I'm just going to say it. Either you're going to meet this person, or you are going to become this person, or you already are this person and you just need to put yourself out there a little bit more so people know who the fuck you are. Okay? It could be either 3 of those things. It could be 2 of those things at the same time as well. I'm just going to leave that there. But the Sire of Wands. So in terms of relationships, in terms of social life, you are not poor vibes there. Okay? That's where you're the richest. And if you don't feel you're the richest yet, you either need to reevaluate the situation, or you need to start fucking around and finding out by putting yourself out there, because you are this person that can have a very rich social life, very rich relationships easily. It is not a struggle, and it should not be a struggle for you, because you are charismatic, baby. Okay? You are charismatic as hell, and people want to know who you are, how it is that you became that way. And you might even be someone who influences people. And I'm not even saying like on socials. I don't know if that's what you even want, but you influence people to make decisions, whether it's, you know, in the day-to-day life or in a family setting or within your friend circle or even within your partnership or partnerships, depending on, you know, what way you swing. That's on you. But yeah, your social life is looking really good. So I don't see any issues going on with your social life. Yes, there might be some bumps in the road. Obviously, like it's life, things are going to happen, but it's not an area you really need to work on too much. Okay. And you know what, Aries? I feel like this is your reading. This is your reading. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it gave you something to think about, some things to apply, and happy Lunar New Year. Goodbye.